Hello again, everyone. In this video I want to look at part of Ephesians chapter 6 verses verse 11, but we'll start in verse 10. And it says there, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. And the thing I want to focus on there is the wiles of the devil. This video came out of, I guess the idea for this video came out of a video that Brother Mark Hunter did last week on this particular passage. And he got into a couple of different things, but did briefly mention the wiles of the devil, and I wanted to just expound upon that a little bit more and show you the importance of the King James Bible and the cross-referencing that it has built into it, and how the modern versions destroy that, and just give you something to think about for yourself in your own walk, and just the things that you are involved with. And the thing there I want to focus on is the wiles of the devil. And the word wiles in the King James Bible appears twice. It appears here, and it also appears in Numbers chapter 25. And one of the things that deception is a great tool of the devil and his workers, and what they try to do is get you to defile yourself and get you to be involved in things that it's deception, things that you are really not aware. You're ignorant. You may even think that they are good things, and you're just not aware that how you're marrying yourself up to the world. And that's one of the things he gets Christians to do, especially today in this late hour, in this age of apostasy that we're in the age of the church of the Laodiceans that we're in. He gets us to marry, and it's happening more and more and widely in Christianity today, is how we are just marrying ourselves up to things of the world. And it's so prevalent in Christianity today that it's commonplace that people just don't think anything of it. And it can go on in different examples, and the reason that's happening today is, one of the things is that people just don't have the Word of God. They don't have the King James Bible, and they're ignorant of the truth. And so let's turn to Numbers chapter 25 here and see, what the wiles of the devil entail. And if you read the Bible much and you know what's going on in Numbers at this point, Balak is trying to get Balaam to curse Israel for him. And Balaam repeatedly tells him that he can't curse Israel because they're blessed. And so what Balak, it's not really explicit, but it's implicit that what Balak gets, Balaam tells is he can't curse Israel directly, but he informs Balak how he can get Israel to curse themselves, to come under God's curse by getting them to do certain things. So he can't directly call a curse upon them, but he can get them to defile themselves and curse themselves. And so, and the way that he does that is in Numbers chapter 25. We'll just read it because it's not very long, and you'll see what happens here. Right after, I'll read Numbers 24, verse 25 there. It says, and Balaam rose up and went and returned to his place, and Balak also went his way. So they've communed several times. Balak's asked him to do something, curse Israel several times, and he's unable to. And so they, you see them part ways here. And then it tells you what happens to Israel. And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. And they called the people unto sacrifices of their gods. The people did eat and bowed down to their gods. And Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel. And the Lord said unto Moses, Take all the heads of the people, hang them up before the Lord against the sun, that the fierce anger of the Lord may be turned away from Israel. Moses said unto the judges of Israel, Slay ye every one of his men that were joined unto Baal Peor. And behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman in the sight of Moses, and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, saw it, he rose up among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand, and he went after the man of Israel into the tent, and thrust both of them through, and the man of Israel and the woman through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel. And those that died in the plague were 24,000. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Phinehas the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, hath turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, while he was zealous for my sake among them, that I consumed not the children of Israel in my jealousy. Wherefore say, Behold, I give unto him my covenant of peace, and he shall have it in his seed after him, even the covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was zealous for his God, and made an atonement for the children of Israel. Now the name of the Israelite that was slain, even that was slain with the Midianitish woman, was Zimri, the son of Salu, a prince of a chief house among the Simeonites. And the name of the Midianitish woman that was slain was Cosbi, the daughter of Zur. He was head over a people in the chief house in Midian. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Vex the Midianites, and smite them, for they vex you with their wiles, wherewith they have beguiled you in the matter of Peor, and in the matter of Cosbi, the daughter of the prince of Midian, their sister, which was slain in the day of the plague for Peor's sake. So you see in verse 18 there, it says, For they vex you with their wiles, wherewith they have beguiled you in the matter of Peor. So the wiles there, the deception, wherewith they beguiled them, was that they got Israel to mix in with the Midianites. It says there in verse 2, and that they called the people unto sacrifices of their gods, and they did eat, and they bowed down to their gods. They committed whoredom with their daughters, so they intermarried with their daughters. This was an unraveling of Solomon. He married all kind of strange women, and he loved them, and he did all kinds of wicked things, sacrificing to their gods and bowing down to them. And so the tie-in here to Ephesians 6 is that mixing in with the children of the Midianites with the children of Israel is spiritually, you can apply that to Christians partaking of wicked things with unsaved people, and partaking of their activities, listening to their music, watching their shows. You hear all things all at work about shows people are watching, and you just evil communications corrupts good manners. So you hear about these things, and you're enticed to watch this thing, listen to this thing, check this thing out on the internet, and before you know it, you're doing these things, listening to things, watching things, going places where you ought not to go. And so many Christians do that. And then two things I want to point out to you here. In 2 Corinthians, and we'll keep this video kind of short so that you can research and study on your own, and see where you're at with these things. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 14 says, Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? And what concord hath Christ with Belial? Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel? And what agreement hath the temple of God with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God. As God hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. So you've got 6 things compared there: believers and unbelievers. You've got righteousness and unrighteousness, light and darkness, Christ with Belial, believeth, those that believe, and infidels, and the temple of God with the temple of idols. And then the other thing I want to show you in 2 Corinthians is in chapter 10, the end of chapter 10. Let me see the right place. 2 Corinthians 10, verse 12, it says, "For we dare not make ourselves of the number, or compare ourselves with some that commend themselves. But they, measuring themselves by themselves and comparing themselves among themselves, are not wise." And then down to verse 17 there, it says, "But he that glorieth, let him glory in the Lord. For not he that commendeth himself is approved, but whom the Lord commendeth." And the things I wanted to point out to you there in those is that we ought to take an examination, an inventory of our lives, and compare ourselves with the Scriptures, and see where are we with how we should be living, with how the world's living, and where are we mingling ourselves with the world where we shouldn't be. How much time are you spending with, you need to witness to unbelievers, but how much time are you spending with unbelievers? Are you partaking of the things that they partake of? Are you, basically that passage in 2 Corinthians 6 there is saying, you ought not to be mixing with believers, righteousness, light, Christ believeth, temple of God, with unbelievers, unrighteousness, darkness, Belial, infidels, and idols. So where are you mixing in? And if you want to look at some things and, well, what are you talking about exactly? Well, there's a brother out there that his ministry deals with a lot of exposing things where are kind of today have been made gray areas, or they've kind of taken pagan things and Christianized them to blend in the things where they try to make it okay for Christians to do certain things. And his name is Brian Moonen, Moonan, and I'm sure if people are watching my channel, a lot of people watching my channel, he's got 10, 12 times as many people that have seen his channel. So if somebody's watching my stuff, they've probably seen his. But if you haven't, look at his channel and check out some of the things on there and some of the studies he's done on. He's done stuff on, music, movies, Disney, the Sight and Sound Theater. I know that people like to go to the Sight and Sound Theater. I've been there myself once, I think, and he just shows you how it gets very some of those things become a very gray area with some of the things that you're I've said with TV shows and whatnot. If you're a lot of Christians watch TV shows today, a lot of I'll get to that part in a minute about the pastors are leading Christians astray as well, because they're commenting on shows they watch, and you've got secular movie clips running in churches today as like an intro to something, some segment or some series they're doing. And of course, at one point we've all been exposed to the world and exposed to certain music and certain movies, and so some of that stuff resonates with us, and it they're trying to appeal to the unsaved world in the church, and they kind of, it becomes very difficult to especially for a young Christian or people who don't have the Word of God and the King James Bible, and they're using modern versions, and they've got all these different programs and things that entice the flesh in those churches. it becomes very difficult to tell, what's going on, spiritually in there. Because when you've got the pastors in there with, it's difficult to judge their motives, but let's just say poor discernment with what they're allowing in there. Then people think, because the leadership of the church thinks it's okay to watch, have a little funny clip of National Lampoon's Vacation in there before we, do our series or do our segment, to get people in a lighthearted mood. Then pastors, they must watch that stuff. They must listen to that music. They must do this. They must do that. And somebody comments on, some show on, pastor comments on some show on TV that, you watch it and it's like, that's pretty wicked. But that gets back to 2 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 12 there, for comparing, we dare not make ourselves of that number, or compare ourselves with some that commend themselves, but measuring themselves by themselves, comparing themselves among themselves, are not wise. And I've done that. I probably still do that, and without realizing it. There's somebody who I respect as a Bible teacher, somebody who's very, I look at as a mature Christian or something, and they may say something or they may comment on something, and without thinking, I just, in the flesh, you respect that person, and they're a good Bible teacher. They're this or they're that, and you respect them as a Christian, and you start, a lot of people I know compare themselves with what, and the pastors have to be aware of this. People in their congregation are comparing themselves to the pastor, which they shouldn't do, but the pastor's there as a help for you spiritually, but you're to compare yourself to the Lord Jesus Christ. And Paul says in 1 Corinthians 11, follow me even as I follow Christ. Be followers of me even as I also am of Christ. So where he follows Christ, you follow him. Where he doesn't follow Christ, don't follow him. Follow Christ. So Paul, pastors are supposed to be a good example to you. And, Christians who are baby Christians and they're weaker in the faith, they tend to look at their pastor as an example, which your pastor should be an example, but you should also be able to discern where he's not going where you should be going. The Christians who compare themselves among themselves, hey, so and so, he leads the worship band, that's a whole other topic. But you see somebody who is put out front by the church, pastor. I just hate to use these as examples, but lots of churches have worship leaders, which is just there's no such thing. I don't think in the Bible as a worship leader. But anyway, whoever the leaders are of the church, people tend to compare themselves to those people because they think in their mind, these people are in a place of authority or a place of leadership in the church, and so if they're doing stuff that's okay, then they're doing these things, then I should, it must not be so bad. The pastor's going here, the pastor's doing this, the worship leader's doing this, so and so is in this office in the church, and he does this stuff, so it must be okay. And then you've got people who've been in church 5-10 years, and they're supposed to be leaders of Bible studies and things like that, and they do these things or do those things, and it's kind of like, well, I guess that's not so bad because so and so, you perceive this guy to be a new Christian. He perceives so and so, he's been saved 10 years, and he's leading this Bible study, and he does these things. So I guess this is what Christians do. But we're not to compare ourselves among ourselves. We're to compare ourselves to the standards in the scriptures. And so just wanted to point out that cross-reference to you, the wiles of the devil and what the devil tries one of the main tactics of the devil to deceive you as a Christian is to get you involved in things of the world and get you to think that they're okay, to get you to think that what you're participating in, what you're looking at, what you're doing, what you're listening to, it's okay. And he tries to blur the lines. He tries to make it a gray area. And that's what a lot of the modern versions do in the text, is they create gray areas so that it's subjective. It's what you prefer. It's what you want to do. It's what you think, what you feel. And the King James Bible in certain areas is, not in certain areas, but it's very straightforward in what's expected of you as a Christian. But the wiles of the devil, trying to get you to behave like the world and then defile yourself in the eyes of God. And God says to come out from among them and be separate. So that's what we're supposed to do. And just wanted to point that out to you. So I don't think that I looked at all the modern versions in that particular reference, and those that cross-reference is broken. In fact, there is one, wiles. Wiles is not a word that you hear a whole lot. People, you kind of know what it is from, if you've watched cartoons, you've heard of Wile E. Coyote. So he's very deceptive, and he uses a lot of trickery to try to catch the roadrunner. So that is honestly, that's where I heard of wile before. But wiles is a tool of deception, and it's that word is archaic. But what's funny is that it's in the ESV. It's in the ESV in Ephesians chapter 6. However, it's taken out of Numbers 25, and I think it's replaced with schemes or something like that. So they break the cross reference. So you would think, well, if they like schemes better, maybe they should keep schemes in Ephesians. But again, that's not part of the agenda in those Bibles is to destroy your ability to study them. I think that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you got something from it. And I pray that those watching will be edified by it. And if you have any questions, if you have something to point out to me that will help me, feel free to comment down below. And I'll see you next time. Have a good night.